Imagine a drone army of Mark Zuckerberg clones stomping on a human face forever.
So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got my asshole, bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks and a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. Oh, I just can't understand it. Conquer divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. I don't wanna hear it. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish Mr. Whitebeater, you're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with the penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in a pool of blood and crying. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like a tree and gag. Oh, I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public dominant. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. I don't wanna hear it. Read into the lyrics. So let the bloody spill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do this show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. Simulcasting to other places that do not matter. You can support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex, or even better, over at eplex.store. Sign up at the $5 a month level or higher, and you get the entire show, including Red Light, sent to your inbox. I would say the morning after the show, but that would be a lie. It'd be the day after the show, the evening after the show. And I don't know, I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave yelling at shitlibs. And this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't thank your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong, thank your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fairest judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong, don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job, don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops.
All right, so this first story, I had no idea really where to put it, so I'm gonna put it. We put it first. Let's see what's up here. This is a I don't know. This is a feel good story, maybe. At least to start off, I think we'll have a little fun.
Scary situation in Westlake yesterday. Police and the family of a 91-year-old woman unable to get a hold of her. But officers never could have imagined what they were about to find when they went to check things out. Our Scott Knoll explains.
Westlake police at the home of a 91-year-old woman Thursday night.
783, garage doors open. We're gonna make entry.
Police, her family, all unable to get a hold of the homeowner.
And vehicles in the garage.
The woman, a part of the city's Are You OK program. This time, another woman not answering the call.
Everyone's a little bit alarmed that she was missing these contacts.
What would police find this time?
Westlake police!
To protect the woman's identity, police didn't release any more of that video. But what happens next, no one would have guessed.
Turned out to be all okay. Everyone got a good laugh out of it.
Police found her all right in her room. We'll let the officers called to dispatch explain the rest.
We're here with her now. She's playing video games in her bedroom.
Police say not just playing video games, but trying to beat her record level, officers say. Missing those attempts to check in on her. But we're told thankful police came out. In Westlake, I'm News 5 investigator Scott Knoll.
Fuck yeah. Gamer Granny was like, I ain't picking up your fucking phone call. I'm trying to beat my high score. Leave me alone. Fucking cool. What a good story. Unfortunately, the rest of the docket is the rest of the docket. So we got some news about the conflict in Iran. Did you know that other countries are going to help with the blockade, but also we don't need them? It's the president, and he's being the president.
Is it your anticipation, Mr. President, that other countries will assist in this effort to blockade Iran and those specific...
Yeah, other countries are going to also.
Which countries, sir?
We don't need other countries, frankly, but they've offered the services. We'll let it be known probably tomorrow.
Has the blockade started, sir?
Yeah, started 10 o'clock.
We don't need the other countries, but they're helping, but we don't need them. They're going to help us block the fucking strait that we were saying that we need to open. And which strait is that? We're going to ask Mr. Besant here. Which strait was that again? I forgot. Which strait was that? Anybody know? Oh, this guy knows. He'll tell us.
President Trump said this morning that he thinks we're nearing the end. The U.S. kept their side on the ceasefire. We've stopped firing. The Straits of Hormuz have not been.
The Strait of Vermouth. You know what kind of cocktail this guy likes, at least. If you want to bribe him or whatever, you got to, what kind of cocktail to make for him. Up next, we got the Vice President of the United States of America. We're going to call this two can play at that game, which is an insane thing for him to say here, but whatever.
When it comes to weapons of war, what they have done is engage in this act of economic terrorism against the entire world. They basically threatened any ship that's moving through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, as the President of the United States showed, two can play at that game. And if the Iranians are going to try to engage in
both of us, we can fuck the whole world's economy up. Two can play at that game.
Economic terrorism, we're going to abide by a simple principle that no Iranian ships are getting out either. We know that's a big deal to them. We know that applies additional economic leverage. And again, Brett, the president wants the Iranian people to thrive and succeed. He has had his negotiation team put on the table a serious proposal. The ball is in Iran's court. Did we make progress? Yes. But we're going to find out from the Iranians whether we can make that ultimate bit of progress that gets us to a big deal.
So, two could play at that game. Not only can the Iranians fuck up the whole world economy, well, we can do it too. Everybody get together, fuck up the whole world's economy. Here's Stephen Miller. He stops himself from saying the thing that he really wanted to say here. Check this out.
And this embargo and every other option is on the table as President Trump seeks that final, safe, secure outcome.
Thank you for joining.
What was he about to say there? The final what? What, Stephen? The final what? Final safe, secure outcome. Not the final solution. He certainly wasn't going to say that. So up next, this one is ChatGPT. ChatGPT has confirmed someone's biases, and they're using this as like evidence, I guess, or a reason to say something on TV.
That is the leadership of their party.
And if you compare today, what's going on today, to, let's call it World War II, right? I put in a question in ChatGPT and said, if we were to look at the media back during World War II and look at how they're reporting this current conflict, how would the media report on World War II? Here's what I got from ChatGPT. Ready? Leaders like Franklin D. Roosevelt would face nonstop scrutiny, not near unified messaging like in the 1940s. Social media would amplify dissent, leaks, and battlefield setbacks in real time, changing public support even faster. How many people? Hundreds of thousands of people died in World War II. Imagine how the media would be reporting it if they were reporting the way they are today. You're right. The media is against President Trump, even though he is trying to stop a potential nuclear terrorist.
Oh man, now Fox has always been bad, but I guess now we're going with, well, the fucking robot told me that that what I believe is true, so let's go with that. So this is a former presidential candidate, former Secretary of State, former Senator Hillary Clinton, and I don't know, she thinks she's posting a W here, but I'm not sure I agree with her. I'm not sure that she's posting a W here.
We see Hezbollah is not by any means defeated because we're engaged in a war now in southern Lebanon. I would wish the following. Number one, and finally there seems to be some opening here. I've been advocating behind the scenes for this now for several months. Israel should support this Lebanese government. There has not been a better Lebanese government since the Syrians and Iranians assassinated Hariri. They are trying. Do they have all the capacity they need? No. But they are trying to set up a government in Lebanon that can deal with the threat that Hezbollah poses internally to Lebanon. And so rather than making their task even harder, work with this new government in Lebanon. See how far you can help them to go to disarm Hezbollah.
This is not the W you think it is, Madam Former Secretary. No, this isn't the W you think it is. Up next, we got the Trump administration versus the fucking Pope. Here's J.D. Vance talking about the Trump administration's. This week they had a little bit of a conflict with the Pope.
Pope Leo has expressed problems with the war in Iran, says that we should be peacemakers, been very vocal. The president took to Truth Social saying Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. He wasn't on any list to be Pope, was only put there because the church, because he was an American, they thought he would be good, best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. Just wondering, as a Catholic, how you consider this Truth Social post, and then the post of the picture, which a lot of people took as the president posting a picture of himself as Jesus. He later said that he posted it as thinking as a doctor saving people.
I thought, and had to do with Red Cross, as a Red Cross worker there, which we support, and only the fake news could come up with that one.
But it really caused a kerfuffle, Mr. Vice President. I'm just wondering what you make of all of this, and whether it's what you think of this back and forth with the church.
Well, first of all, Brett, I think the president was posting a joke, and of course he took it down because he recognized that a lot of people weren't understanding his humor in that case. I think the president of the United States likes to mix it up on social media, and I actually think that's one of the good things about this president is that he's not filtered. He doesn't send everything through a communications professional.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about this fucking president is he doesn't think before he puts anything out.
Actually reaches out directly to the people. You know, when it comes to the disagreements with the Vatican, look, we're going to have disagreements, Brett, from time to time. I think it's a good thing, actually, that the Pope is advocating for the things that he cares about, but we're always going to have disagreements on matters of public policy, or I should say, sometimes we're going to have disagreements on matters of public policy. The Pope has been critical of our immigration policy, but ultimately the immigration policy of the United States is set by Donald Trump. The Pope is going to have disagreements on other issues. We can respect the Pope. We certainly have a good relationship with the Vatican, but we're also going to disagree on substantive questions from time to time. I think that's a total.
Oh, that was not a joke. I mean, he posted that shit because his fucking the True Blue followers think that he probably can heal you by touching your head or whatever. Here's more of Vance. He's going to advise the Vatican to stay out of politics because, you know, the Pope historically has never, ever been a political figure ever in any sort of way, shape, or form.
I think that's a totally reasonable thing and isn't particularly newsworthy.
Do you think that when the president says it's hurting him very badly, catering to the radical left, it's hurting the Catholic Church? Do you agree with the president there?
Well, look, I think the president has the prerogative to set American foreign policy. He's got the prerogative to set American immigration policy. He has to look out for the interests of the United States of America. And that inevitably means that when the Vatican comments on issues of public policy, sometimes there's going to be agreement, of course, and sometimes there's going to be disagreement. I think that's a reasonable thing, Brett. I don't think that it's particularly newsworthy, but I certainly think that in some cases it would be best for the Vatican to stick to matters of morality, to stick to matters of what's going on in the Catholic Church, and let the President of the United States stick to dictating American public policy. But when they're in conflict, they're in conflict. I don't worry about it too much, Brett. I think it's a natural thing. I'm sure it'll happen in the future, and it's not that big of a deal that it happened in the past.
Stick to matters of morality like fucking dropping bombs on people and deporting people are matters of morality. There's because the fact the government's doing it doesn't make it like not subject to the moral judgment of anybody from me or you to the Pope, actually. So seems like that's a dumb take. Speaking of dumb takes, here's the man himself, President Trump.
Robert Barron supports you and your policies. He praises you for defending religious freedom.
Yeah.
He now says you owe Pope Leo an apology. Will you apologize?
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong. He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran, and you cannot have a nuclear Iran. Pope Leo would not be happy with the end result. You have hundreds of millions of people dead, and it's not going to happen. So I can't. I think he's very weak on crime. and other things. So I'm not. I mean, he went public. I'm just responding to Pope Leo. And his brother is a big MAGA person, and he's a great guy, Louis. And I said I like Louis better than I like the Pope. No, yeah.
It's a fucking. I like his brother better because he voted for me. All right, dude, whatever. Fucking, this dude is like all ego, like incredibly thin skin. Oh, and I guess the Prime Minister of Italy criticized Donald Trump about what he was saying about the Pope, and he didn't like that either. Here's Trump from the awful looking whatever fucking room this is in the White House. What is this guy's turn? This is it's also tacky, also very Russian.
Up until this moment in time, he said she had said that his attacks on the Pope were unacceptable. President Trump responded to that, saying it's her who's unacceptable because she doesn't care if Iran has a nuclear weapon and would blow up Italy in 2 minutes if they had a chance. My panel is back now.
It is mind-boggling that he wants to continue this, and yet it's totally within character. So it's not terribly surprising. But when you say, as he said, as you just read, that the Pope shouldn't talk about war, that's like saying the Fed chair shouldn't talk about the economy. I mean, like he is like part of the mission of him guiding his flock is to a place of peace, right? Mm-hmm. Like that is at core. So to say the Pope shouldn't talk about war just, I think, misunderstands what the Pope's reason for being is.
Yeah.
And I think.
So to be fair, the Pope is just like a fucking Catholic celebrity. Like, this Pope seems cool. I like him. I like that he's from Chicago. I like that he's into liberation theology and all that. Because if you're gonna be in like, I'm not religious, and I generally think religion isn't like the greatest thing in the world. But if you're gonna be religious, liberation theology ain't a bad way to be religious. Here's Mike Johnson. Did you know what about the just war doctrine? Doesn't the Pope know about the just war doctrine? Stupid Pope.
Speaking of RFK, good question. Last night, Vice President Vance said the Pope needs to be careful talking about theology. President Trump, I think, again criticized the Pope overnight. He's criticized the Pope saying that he's weak on crime. What are your thoughts about President Trump and Vice President Vance's comments about the Pope?
Listen, I'm not one to criticize clerics and religious leaders. We defend free speech, and we certainly defend the right to the free exercise of religion. And a pontiff or any religious leader can say anything they want, but obviously if you wade into political waters, I think you should expect some political response, and I think the Pope's received some of that. I was taken a little bit aback, just honestly, frankly, by something that was said. I think he said it several days back that something about those who engage in war, that Jesus doesn't hear their prayers or something. It is a very well settled matter of Christian theology. There's something called the just war doctrine. There's a time to every purpose under heaven. I think
a time to be born, a time to die, a time to laugh, a time to get the fuck out of here.
What the president's comments, what the vice president's comments reflect is their understanding deep in the skiff and the classified briefings of the stakes that are so high and the situation that we're facing, and the fact that you had the nation that was the largest sponsor of terrorism now having had that ability taken away from them. That means potentially millions of innocent people will be able to keep their lives and not be killed by terrorists. That's a good thing. That's what's come out of this, okay? So I don't want to engage in a theological debate with the Pope. I certainly respect the Pope. I would just say that these are matters that people of good faith and good sense can debate and think through, and I think that's what that reflects. Yes.
God, you could find different American presidents and Benjamin Netanyahu specifically going all the way back to the 90s telling you how Iran is going to have a fucking nuclear arsenal in like a few weeks or a few months or whatever. It's like it's like how Jesus is coming back. It's like that same shit. It's like, well, are they, if they had been this close that whole time, you'd think they'd have built one. Also, the idea that just because if they have a nuclear weapon, that they're just going to randomly start nuking people is fucking insane. These are not like Iran. People don't understand. The people in Iran are just us, but in Iran. The people that run the country of Iran, we don't like their form of government, right? It's autocratic. non-democratic, like whatever. But I don't think those are irrational actors who want to just start a fucking nuclear war and then blow the fucking whole, then get the whole world blown up. I just don't think they want that. Seems like a thing most people don't want. So now we're going to go with Lance Wallnau, who we haven't been covering much lately because he's fucking insufferable, but he has a take on all this.
God chooses these rough characters exactly because they will do the hard job. And of course, the religious and the proper are always embarrassed and upset because, you know, Samson's clubbing Philistines, and what they want is a kind of an elegant Isaiah in the palace courts, and God sends a deliverer. That's why I'm saying it's a religious war right now. We're getting into some religious, but the principality over Persia is a religious spirit, Islamic. Now we got the Pope in the Vatican, and it's all fighting with Trump, who is your intercessory prayer result of God sending in Samson with a club to deal with the Philistines. He's one.
What the fuck?
After he gets in another dust up with a new Pope, that he's in this back and forth, and he wants to show an image that he is more for God. As a matter of fact, that's what he said to the first Pope. He said, I'm more Christian than he is. And here's what Trump is saying in that unwisely post.
Donald Trump is almost certainly an atheist.
He's basically saying, hey, you say that you're all about, you know, being a representative of God's will on earth. Well, I'm a representative of what God's doing on earth, too. And so once again, my thesis is that Donald Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime providential intervention in world affairs for the benefit, as Isaiah 45 says, clearly, of Christians and Israel.
This guy's one of those end times motherfuckers who's like happy that all this strife and war is happening in the Middle East because he thinks it's going to make fucking Jesus come back. Those people are terrifying, but yet here in America, people are like, well, I don't know, the Iranians, they're religious crazies. So here's Donald Trump with that DoorDash driver. More on that a little bit later in the show, actually. But here's Donald Trump talking about how that picture, I think what happened here is that he was told that to tell people that he shared it, but it was a doctored image, like that he didn't really do that or something. But then I think he mistook that for it to be, it's actually a picture of me as a doctor.
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it. And I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor.
Bullshit. It's you as Jesus, dude.
I make people a lot better.
Dude, that was so obviously like him as Jesus or some kind of godlike deity or whatever. Some kind of God-shaped deity. This is incredible. This is wild stuff. Wild stuff. Just the things that fucking... I think it's fewer and fewer of his fucking fans are believing it, but still it's not zero of them. People believe this shit. So we're going to move on here. We're going to go to Minnesota. It looks like an ICE agent faces assault charges in Hennepin County, Minnesota, which is interesting.
Well, Black, the administration hasn't made, they've said that they won't be pleased if there are charges against any federal officers involved in immigration activities.
The question is, are we concerned as to whether there would be federal blowback? They've indicated they would not be happy, something of that nature, if federal agents were to be charged. Not a concern of ours. Our role, by the way, is to hold people accountable if they violate the laws of the state of Minnesota. And in this particular case, we feel strongly that this agent committed second-degree assault against both of these victims. We have charged the case, and our intent is to hold them accountable.
Does the supremacy
clause?
Yes, Mary. On that note, the Trump administration has said these agents have absolute immunity. A message to them and a message to community members who, because of that, probably feel this is a waste of time.
So the question is, the Trump administration has said that agents have absolute immunity. That is wrong. They are wrong. And I think they've actually walked that back. We know that the vice president insisted that federal agents have absolute immunity. That is not true. They do not have absolute immunity. What could happen is that a federal agent who is charged could ask a federal court to remove the case from state court to federal court. Our office will still be prosecuting it, whether it's state court or federal court. As part of that, we would expect a federal agent to assert a supremacy clause defense, but that requires, and the burden is on the agent to show that what they were doing was within the scope of their authority as a federal agent. Our opinion is that illegally driving on a shoulder, pulling up to a car, and pointing a gun at the heads of two community members who are not doing anything at the time is well beyond the scope of their authority as federal agents. So they may say that, but we will litigate that in court. And there is no such thing as absolute immunity for federal agents who violate the law in the state of Minnesota or any other state.
Why did it take about...
Yeah, that's and what they talk about all the time, and people complain about it, is that law enforcement has something called qualified immunity, which is like, it's fucked up in its own set of ways. There's ways in which like they can fucking, law enforcement can and does break the law all the time, and supposedly in service of enforcing the law, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's like very different than just absolute immunity. Because if they had absolute immunity, like somebody said in chat, well, why not just, if they have absolute immunity, why can't they just go around and basically declare martial law like themselves and make you do what they want or shoot you? Like they can't do, I mean, they do, but like by the letter of the law, they don't have, that is not within the scope of their job. So this was interesting. This was just a press conference. I saw this and I was like offended. Now that I've been a resident, I've lived in Oakland for about, I don't know, a year and a half now. This right here is offensive to me, just on an I walk around the corner to buy things some kind of level.
Probably about $4,000 or $5,000, and they wanted to raise your taxes. The great big beautiful bill also slashed taxes on millions of American small businesses, including restaurants, dry cleaners, corner stores. What is a corner store? I've never heard that term. I know what a corner store is, but I've never heard it described. A corner store. Who the hell wrote that, please? And more.
Wait, I know what a corner store is, but I've never heard a thing. This motherfucker has never been to a bodega. He lived in New York City. I bet he never went to no bodega, never pet a bodega cat. Motherfucker sent somebody else shopping for him. So, up next, here's the Treasury Secretary of the United States telling you that if you think the economy's bad, actually, in your heart of hearts, you think it's great that tomatoes are now $3 a pound at like the cheap grocery store, for example.
Why aren't we seeing this sentiment? Why are people feeling better?
Well, I when I was in the investment business, there are consumer surveys, but I used to look at what are the people really doing. So at Treasury, we have loads of CEOs come through, whether they're in retail, credit card, the banks, and the consumer, while they may be sounding grim, is actually quite buoyant. So we are seeing spending has been very solid across most categories.
So they might not feel good, but...
Well, look, in their heart of hearts, they feel good. I'm not sure what they're telling the survey people.
Hold on. So if prices go up and people need things to survive, like groceries, I know that's an old timey word, groceries, like yes, the president, but they're going to be spending more to get the same amount of groceries. So spending is going to be up, but people are going to notice that, and they're probably not happy about that. Actually, their spending had to go up. Don't worry though. This is all Joe Biden's fault. Can you imagine that? First of all, the economy's good, but if it isn't, it's fucking Joe Biden's fault.
Last thing, should the American people be ready for more increased prices, especially at the gas tank, considering that this does not look like it's going to resolve very quickly as far as the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, you know, the president said, Brett, that yes, gas prices are higher. Yes, energy prices are higher. First of all, they're higher from a baseline where we've never had the terrible energy prices that we had of the last administration. So we come at this from a position of strength. But, Brett, absolutely, we know the American people are hurting. That's why that we're negotiating so aggressively to try to get the energy prices to come down. We're going to keep on working at it. I do think that we're in a place where we've accomplished our objectives. We can start to wind this thing down. I'd much rather wind this thing down with a big successful negotiation. But regardless, the president said this is not going to go on forever. That's never his intention. And I think because of that, the energy prices, while painful, are not going to be around forever.
Mr. Vice President, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, that's insane. The gas prices right now are like up over over $5.25 a gallon, like national average or some shit like that. It was never that high under the last administration. The president doesn't necessarily have direct control over the gas prices, but in this case, it seems like there's certainly upward pressure on gas prices that is the result of bombing a country that was, for all intents and purposes, over there minding their own fucking business. Up next, actually, did you know that the Democrats like high gas prices?
People, AAA has these as gas prices right now. We'll put it up on the board for everyone to see at $4.13. You said.
Oh, I was wrong. I thought it was $1 more.
Still below $4 in Wyoming, but it's on people's minds.
Well, absolutely, Dana. I was in your hometown of Newcastle, Wyoming. People still love you there. No surprise. They also love the president, support the president, what he's doing, and specifically with Iran. And yeah, gas prices are on their minds, as they always are for our producers, our farmers and ranchers, and people that drive long distances in Wyoming. They also understand that what the president is doing in an effort to provide stability in that part of the world will have good long-term impacts in terms of energy prices. They also understand that Republicans are the party of energy dominance. Democrats like high gas prices because of their radical climate agenda. So people understand what the president's doing, agree with him, and know that we need peace and stability and need to protect America long term from the threat of Iran, which has been there, and they've been at war with us for 47 years.
Oh, yeah, they keep saying that. They've been at war with us for 40. There's such a long history there where, like, fucking the United States, like, it was involved in, like, overthrowing the government, and like a lot of shit was going down, and they're collapsing a lot of shit actually there by just saying, well, they've been at war with us for 47 years. The fuck they have. They've been an adversary of the United States for that maybe that number of years, but that's not the same as being at war. So everybody probably saw this thing this week. This is a stunt involving a DoorDash driver who actually is a political operative. And maybe she drives DoorDash, maybe she doesn't. Who knows? But what we do know is that she's a political operative.
Just delivered McDonald's, and I hope she is tipped very well. I'm sure she is. An incredible, of course, testament to the president, as always, caring for his staffers in the best way that they always love, which is a McDonald's.
She's not going to forget that delivery.
No.
Okay, that is
well, neither are we.
She has no idea national news.
Because, Emily, we do know the media are not far away. Can we hear any of what they're saying? Let's watch and listen.
We call it the great big beautiful bill. We should call it the great big beautiful tax cut bill, because it's tremendous amounts of money. And that's overtime. That's also on Social Security, as you know.
Yes.
And it's pretty amazing.
Yes, it is.
Well, you're really nice. Would you like to do a little news conference with me with these people? These are not the nicest people. They're not nice like you. You know that, right?
I'll do whatever you ask me to do, sir.
So the no tax on tips is something special, right?
It's very special.
And that's the one that really pertains to you more than anything else.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It's fantastic. And so it's such an honor to meet you. And I think you voted for me, do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah? I heard you're a great supporter. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll put this over.
So this is so obviously staged. Like, you can't, as a DoorDash driver, get access to the fucking front door, the fucking wherever the president is, dude. Like, come on, like, this is like who the fuck watched this and is like, oh shit, the president's just like me, gets DoorDash delivered. No, this doesn't. No, this person went through probably like all kinds of vetting and security, and like this was prearranged. This was absolutely prearranged. Even if we didn't find out more about her later, this is still obviously prearranged. Also, it's not no tax on tips. You get a tax credit. up to a certain amount on your tips. So that's not the same. Here's more.
They want to have men playing in women's sport. Do you think that men should play in women's sports?
I really don't have an opinion on that.
You don't? I'll bet you do.
No, I'm here about no tax on tips.
Yeah. Okay.
This political operative lady is like, I don't want to fucking talk about that. Shut the fuck up. He's like, I'm just here to lie about the tax on tips thing, sir. Here's more of this. This is Trump talking about how the 2020 election was rigged. This is. You also know this is a real DoorDash driver because they're like hanging out. They're not like just like trying to get to the next delivery or whatever, because I think that's DoorDash people that they absolutely just need to get to the next delivery. Otherwise, they will not make much money.
That were just declassified show that Eric Charinella not only submitted false information, but that he had no direct knowledge of the alleged conversation. It was all hearsay. Do you feel vindicated by those?
Yeah, I do. They're a bunch of crooked people. You're talking about with respect to all of the things that they put against me? Yeah. Well, it's come out that in so many different ways. Thank you very much for that question. I appreciate it. But in so many different ways, the election was rigged. The 2020 election was rigged. We found that out. What you just said is just a piece of that. It's a big piece, but minor, relatively speaking, compared to what they did. They cheated in the election. They cheated on the vote. And they cheated in every way possible. And it's the only way we got an incompetent man to be a president. And he was an incompetent man. Many of the things that we're talking about, even including this would have been settled a long time ago, not now. And it should have been settled by other presidents. But the election was a rigged election. We can't let that happen to our country.
It's concealment of exculpatory information. What should happen?
Well, it's a very serious charge against them and the Democrats. They cheat. They can't get elected with their policy. So their policy is no good. They want to have, open borders. They want to have men playing in women's sport. Do you think that men should play in women's sports?
This guy's like, they're going to get clobbered in the midterms. Like, he's going to say it was all fucking, I'm like worried, not about the day of the midterms. I'm worried about the day after the midterms. Here is the DoorDash grandma, Sharon Simmons. She's gonna tell you that she's not a paid actor, which is fine, but that's not really the accusation here, or the what people found out. She's like a political operative, which is different than being a paid actor.
But you're not Sharon, you're not an actor. This is what you do. People think you're an actress.
I do not act. If I acted, I probably wouldn't look as old as what I do.
No, you do not.
No, you look great.
But no, I am not a paid actor. My life is just like everybody else's. I've lived in Nebraska. We lived in Vegas or outside of Vegas. Yes, I testified at the congressional hearing, but then we moved to Fayetteville to be closer to family. Mm-hmm. Let's face it, none of us are getting any younger. And, I want to spend that time with my grandchildren. Mm-hmm. I want to enjoy that time, and there's been misunderstandings about, like my taxes and stuff. And I made over $11,000 in tips. Okay. But our personal savings and everything on our taxes, that's kind of our business. I mean, I don't go around asking you guys, hey,
right.
What'd you get on your taxes,
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I don't feel like that's my responsibility to tell everybody, what I got or what I didn't get.
Yeah.
When I say that, the $11,000, that is the amount of tips that I made. And so that's just...
Got it.
And Sharon, because of Donald Trump, you get to keep all of that $11,000. You get to spend that to help your husband get better who has cancer, or you get to use that for your 10 grandchildren, or however you want. And it's nobody's business. And don't feel bad, because there's some haters out there that will always hate anybody who is standing next to the president. You're a lovely Christian.
Well, no, it's that this was set up. She said that she testified at Congress. This was set up. You doesn't have to be an actor for this to be a fucking sham.
Your prayers, you love everybody on all sides of the aisle, all walks of life. You're just like everybody else. Most of America's like that. You live in Arkansas. You just want to have more years with your grandkids and your husband, and you're doing a great job. Thank you for not being political. You weren't political there. He tried to ask you.
You weren't. She testified in front of. She's a political operative.
About women and men's sports, and you said, I just want to tell you thank you for allowing me to have that $11,000. So that was obvious to most Americans. You're going to have a few haters. It's always bigger in your head. We're in the business. Yeah. We experience this and have for a long time. So
I don't even know who the other two people are that aren't Brian Kilmeade. So I don't think they have any haters. I think Brian Kilmeade has haters, but I don't think the other two are, because I don't know who the fuck they are.
It's okay.
I'm sorry
it's okay
that you have to deal with that.
But we signed up for it, and you didn't. So that's the.
Wait, she did.
About the haters, you're a lovely Christian woman.
You didn't sign. Yes, she did. She testified before Congress and then went and fucking participated in a stunt where she's delivering fucking Big Macs to the fucking president. I think she did, in fact. She did sign up for this. And now, after all this is over, here's the president. This is great. Here's the president. He's like, maybe that was kind of whack, actually. This is fucking so crazy. I don't know why he's doing this.
That no one has ever uttered before. God bless the IRS. Can you believe it? I've never heard that before. We have to patent that. We have to do something. Earlier this week at the White House, I met a wonderful woman named Sharon Simmons, a grandmother driving DoorDash to help support her husband's cancer treatment. She's got serious cancer. She's going to be okay, I think. Sharon delivered McDonald's to the Oval Office. It was a little bit of a, to be honest, it was a little tacky. They come up with these crazy ideas like McDonald's, although that was the biggest ever. On Google, they say #1 ever, and the garbage truck. I mean, we do these things in politics.
What?
They're a little embarrassing. They're a little tiny embarrassing, but we do them, and you win by landslides. It's one of the. So we got to.
Sir, you didn't win by a landslide.
Keep doing. No, we got to knock on the Oval Office door. This did not happen. That's the first, maybe, in the history of the Oval Office, and it was a very beautiful woman standing there with 2 big bags of McDonald's hamburgers. And I say, is this really believable? But the point of it was she made $11,000 that she had no idea was coming. And it was really.
Wait, what?
It turned out to be really great. So as part.
Yeah, he's out there saying that she got like an $11,000 tax return from the tips. But so I don't think that whole 11 grand was subject to the tax credit, but also, when you get tips, the government doesn't just tax you at a fucking 100% on those tips. So she didn't get 11,000, even if that whole 11 grand was tax free. She didn't get 11,000 more than she would have gotten, right? Because the tax on that would have been like, I don't know, if she's a DoorDash driver, like she would have federal tax on that would have been 22%, 18%, something like that. So she didn't actually, she's not up 11 grand. God, this is embarrassing to be an American. Anyway, here's a hit from CNN on the Eric Swalwell incident, set of incidents on Eric Swalwell dropping out of the race for California governor.
After being alleged to have had inappropriate relations with their staff members, and Congress voted against disclosing who those members are and were, if some of them are now out of Congress. Just imagine that, taxpayer dollars paying to cover up this type of atrocious behavior by the representatives that we elect to serve our interest. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It falls below despicable. And I'm saying this as a conservative. I don't look at this as a right or a left thing. I have a 1-year-old daughter now. And to me, when I think about powerful men doing things against women who are subordinate to them, who can't really defend themselves, who may be afraid to speak up because they don't want to lose their jobs, and then our elected officials on both sides had an opportunity to say, you know what, we're not going to stand for this anymore. We're going to disclose the names. We're no longer going to pay out to protect powerful people. And they decided to bury it. Just imagine that, Anderson. In what universe would a moral society say that that is acceptable, that is okay?
It's bizarre to me, Chris. I mean, the behavior, obviously, if the allegations are true against Representative Swalwell, there are legal ramifications for Congressman, for the Republican congressman. The arrogance that he thought. If the text messages that he was sending, the pressure he was allegedly putting on the woman who ended up dying by suicide and perhaps others, or at least another, it's shocking that he thought that was acceptable. I mean, in this day and age, asking somebody you are working with repeatedly for naked photographs and pressuring them to have sexual relations with you, it's what planet is that person living on?
In any place, in a work environment, I mean, I am actually an equal opportunity representative in the military, in the Army with my unit. And we discuss situations like this all the time. And doing something like this to people that are subordinate to you or just even that work with you in a work environment just makes it so uncomfortable. And it's totally not accepted. It's definitely not accepted in the military. We fight it through and through. It's not accepted in any workplace at all. And especially a member of Congress who has such power and ruling over things that occur in this country. To have this happen in Congress is just completely unacceptable.
Sure, Michael, do you think GOP leaders should have asked Gonzalez to take this step earlier? I mean, obviously,
absolutely.
There would have been, balance of power implications, I assume, but he's been hanging on.
Sure, but Anderson, who cares respectfully about balance of power? I'm not saying this to you, but I'm just saying broadly speaking. Who cares when you have a member amongst your ranks who have clearly violated what I presume should be an ethical or moral principle of conservatives, but hell, any decent person. Who cares if you lose a vote? You shouldn't want people like that amongst your ranks. And to me, as a Christian, do I put my political values above my moral and spiritual ones? Of course not. And my expectation is that our leaders on both sides should not do the same. And what I'm worried about, Anderson, is a month from now, 2 months from now, we will have moved on. We'll be on to the next story. But what about the young staff women who have to carry this shame, this predatory behavior with them for the rest of their lives that they will never get over? They'll never get their justice. They'll never get their due day in court because we've buried it. We've moved on. And that's something that Congress continues to perpetuate. And to me, I think we have to keep focused on this to make sure that it doesn't continue because these guys going away doesn't stop this. It merely says, well, we'll pay attention to them. We won't.
So what didn't get brought up there is this Gonzalez guy was saying that he wasn't going to resign. And I think he was probably under pressure from the GOP and from to not resign because of balance of power issues. And then once it was found that Swalwell was cooked, they're like, well, we're basically trading 1 for 1 here. So it doesn't really upset the balance of power. And that's kind of what happened. And that's a little fucked up, isn't it? I think that's a little fucked up. Say what you want about the Democratic Party. And believe me, we have lots to say about the Democratic Party. But at least the Democratic Party takes its trash out. Again, Democratic Party, not perfect. Democratic Party takes out the trash. GOP, not so much. Here's a hit from CNN with Elise Stefanik, who shouldn't really be allowed on television or in Congress. They're going to talk about how there's a double standard here. Not the one that I brought up, mind you, but just a different one.
Critics, including Democrats, argue there's a double standard right now when it comes to sexual misconduct. Back in 2023, a Manhattan federal jury found in a civil lawsuit that Donald Trump sexually abused E. Jean Carroll in the spring of 1996 and awarded her $5 million for battery and defamation. Trump denied all wrongdoing in that case. CNN reporting has also documented multiple women who have come forward with public allegations of sexual misconduct against Donald Trump. All the alleged incidents took place prior to his assuming the presidency, as you know, and Trump has repeatedly denied all the claims, calling them fabrications. No criminal charges have resulted from them. Do you give any credence at all to this question of whether there's a double standard
There's
going on?
absolutely not a double standard. If anything, the media is not focused on holding Democrats to account, and there's been an obsession with lawfare going after.
We just had the reporting Friday.
After he was forced out. After he was forced out, Pam, did you ever ask tough questions? After he was forced out by the public. After Eric Swalwell was forced to resign.
I did the reporting with my team, Casey Tolan,
just recently,
Isabel Chapman, and Shoshana.
Just recently.
Before he resigned.
Before he resigned, and then
Eric Swalwell is a protege of Nancy Pelosi. Ran for president of the United States, has an FEC report that's public about all these expenditures with these women. And the fact that there was no media scrutiny whatsoever, and to your question, Wolf, which was a substantive question, and because I'm from the state of New York, there has been a history of weaponized lawfare against President Trump. Look at the text, look at the videos of Eric Swalwell, look at the staff members' statements. That is very different than the lawfare and the politicization that we have seen.
Your fucking homegirl is sitting across from the gal who reported the story about Swalwell, saying, "Why didn't you report the story about Swalwell?" She's like, "Bitch, I reported. I'm the one. It was my team. We did that." The fucking nerve of these people. The fucking nerve. Well, you were supposed to. What were they supposed to fucking predict the future or something and know beforehand that was all going to drop? What is she talking about? What a liar. Just an absolute dishonest fucking person. I don't know. It was all actually a conspiracy, though. This is from this is Ron Johnson. This is all a conspiracy. They needed to thin the herd in the primary for California. They needed to thin the herd. That's what this is about.
Of the law, they told us for years, turned a blind eye until they thought, you know what, we might actually lose the governorship in California.
No, they won't.
Yeah, the left, the Democrats' hypocrisy knows no bounds. It also shows how incredibly ruthless when it comes to politics they are. This is really all about the fact they had too many candidates running for California governor. They need to start thinning the herd. Otherwise, Steve Hilton just might become governor of California. They couldn't contemplate that. So all of a sudden they figured, well, Eric Swalwell was the easiest one to pick off because they probably understood they had all these skeletons in his closet.
Yeah, and they knew they could take him out. You're right. And Swalwell.
No, dude, no. I don't know if people knew or not. Maybe it was an open secret. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But deciding that that's what it was without demonstrating to us that that's what it was, that's fucking conspiracy brain thinking. Now, speaking of conspiracy brain thinking, I have a bunch of hits of RFK Jr. RFK Jr. went in front of Congress, and boy, howdy, was he fucking upset at some of these people asking him what I would consider to be fairly basic questions.
President Biden's administration was the one that suspended 850 suspected fraudsters. Your administration was the one that let them all go back to work. Have any of them
President Biden fired everybody in May agency except for 6 people who were involved in program integrity.
In fact, under your leadership, you have suspended the very people at CMS who are responsible for overseeing any fraud in the program. But
we've done more to combat fraud than any administration.
If you want to filibuster, go to the Senate. But would you please try to answer my question, sir? Have there been any new complaints against these 850 brokers?
As I said, I'm happy to talk to get my staff to contact.
I'm not asking if you're happy to talk. I just want to know the answer to my question. Have there been any new complaints of fraud against these people?
I don't know why those people were reinstated. For as far as I'm concerned, it may be because of a lawsuit. I have to check on that.
Well, I wish
I
you
can
would.
guarantee you there is no administration.
Reclaiming my time, sir, as
the question here at some point is okay, so if you don't know anything, then what do you do all day? Like, motherfucker, what do you do all day if you don't know anything about literally 850 people who were previously fired for being incompetent or possibly fraudulent getting hired back? Then what the fuck is your job if you don't know about that? That's what a lot of these are going to basically end up being, is like, what the fuck do you do all day then? Here's more.
Earlier in this hearing, Representative Takano had referenced Truth Social posts from the president, and I believe I heard your response to be that he was the most sane president. Do you care to comment any further, or is that your...
If you look at that Truth Social post, I was pointing out the last line of it says, "God bless the Iranian people." So it was clear that he was sending a nuanced message. He was sending a message of brute force and violence to the mullahs to incentivize them to change, but also sending a message of love and compassion to the Iranian people. It's insane that he'd make this kind of threat, but he's a deal maker. He's a bargainer.
Thank you, Mr. Senator.
There's a message of love and compassion to the fucking people he was bombing. This is fucking amazing. We got more here. We got it's just like what research programs should be cut at the NIH? What should be cut? And you're not going to be surprised by the answer.
What specific diseases do you believe deserve less medical research?
DEI.
Okay, so but
we got $1 billion.
Do you have a specific program, a specific disease that deserves less funding?
I would say we're putting $1 billion into DEI, and DEI research has never cured any disease. It's never produced any new drug.
He doesn't have an answer. He's like, oh, just say DEI. He's like, we're going to cut the DEI. So DEI, he probably means like a study that fucking focuses on maybe black women or gay women or gay men or any number of like groups, right? Where you are maybe you're not curing a disease by you're not like do study cure disease. This isn't how fucking medical research works. Eventually, maybe you find cures for diseases as a function of some of the medical research you're doing, but maybe a lot of it is about trying to find out what the good treatments are and how to better serve people and find out who's being underserved and find out why. So you could reach those people in a more effective way. So, here, this is, there's a new study, a Danish study that, it was a pretty big study, and it found no link between Tylenol use of the mother and autism in, an offspring, a baby. And, it's just one study, but that's just the most recent one, right? This isn't like something that is like never been looked into before, but he's just going to tell you, don't like that study. Don't like the Danes.
I have heard today that a new Danish study just came out finding no connection between Tylenol and autism. What is your reaction to that study?
The study is a garbage study. It should be retracted. The study took the medical records of 1 billion Danish women.
Did he say 1 billion? Probably 1 million. If you said 1 billion, I don't think there's 1 billion Danes.
Compared women who got Tylenol during pregnancy to people who did not. The problem is the way it determined whether they got Tylenol during pregnancy was by prescriptions. So only 2% of the people in the study got Tylenol during pregnancy, according to the endpoint.
I don't think they went just by prescriptions. I'd have to look at the study. I bet you could find out a lot just from reading the abstract. But he's like, it's a study that says something that I don't agree with, so it's a garbage study. I don't think more study is required. I think this is like a well-worn trail, right? This is well-worn territory. Tylenol is safe and effective. It's not a very good painkiller, actually. There's much better stuff, but it's safe and effective, and one of the few medications that pregnant women have very little concern about if they take it. So here's more of the hearing. It just. We could have watched this whole thing for red light, but we're not gonna.
Mr. Secretary, you've made a number of outlandish and frankly disturbing comments both before and during your tenure as Secretary of Health and Human Services. I want to draw your attention to one of those times. In a 2024 podcast interview, you suggested that Black children on ADHD medication should be reparented. You said every Black kid is now just standardly put on Adderall, SSRI, benzos, which are known to induce violence, and that those children are going to have to go somewhere to get reparented. There is a lot to unpack in that comment. I know that you've already answered several of the questions I was going to ask, and so I'm just going to rephrase them. Mr. Secretary, you've already admitted that you are not board certified physician, and you've already admitted that you did not go to medical school. Have you ever reparented, or parented, I should say, a Black child?
I don't even know what that phrase means, and I doubt that.
A yes or no answer.
I doubt.
Yo, is she fucking just? It's got the name of the fucking podcast like on the fucking thing. Man, you said that shit. They found it. You said it. They probably went through the transcripts of a bunch of podcasts you were on and looked for the word Black, and found that.
You said that phrase? No,
absolutely.
I'm not going to answer something that I didn't say.
Dude, you said that shit. Fucking shut the fuck up. You said that. I guarantee you he said that.
Absolutely said it.
Oh, I'd like to hear the recording.
So to be
Because
clear,
it doesn't make any sense. I don't even know what it means.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
And by the way,
so to be clear, you're not a doctor, you have no medical degree, and you have no formal medical training. You have never parented a Black child.
24 of the 26 HHS secretaries have not had medical
This is my
degrees.
time. And I say to the chairman, I want to reclaim my time. So you are not a doctor, have no formal medical training, and you've never parented a Black child, and yet you are suggesting that the federal government should take Black children away from their families and reparent them and send them off to some wellness farm instead of providing them with evidence-based.
You're just making stuff up.
I am absolutely not making this up. Mr. Secretary, in your
Lady, tell him to go fuck himself. Just tell him to go fuck himself. I swear. I would fucking, they're going to be like, oh, she broke decorum. I'd be like, good. Tell him to go fuck himself. The motherfucker was going on every fucking podcast for fucking forever and saying all kind of wild shit. And now he's like, oh, I don't remember it because I went on every podcast and said all this dumb shit.
factors should the federal government consider when reparenting a Black child who has been on ADHD or ADD?
I don't even know what you're talking about, Congressman. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what reparenting even means.
Dude, he fucking, there was a big...
said that.
I did not say that.
Secretary.
Dude, fucking that wellness camp shit. Yeah, everybody was talking about that for a while. Like, even like fucking like people like Joe Rogan were like, oh, I don't know about that. It sounds like a fucking concentration camp for kids. Like, it's like fucking even Joe fucking Rogan didn't like that shit. Dude, everybody was talking about that. Like, he's trying to, come on. Get the whole fuck out of here. The fucking troubled teen program is what he wanted to do essentially. And if you want a good deep dive, go find some YouTube videos about that troubled teen industry. Horrible shit was going on there. Here's more from this. This is about measles cases, and he's gonna get real spicy, real upset here. Watch this.
Health messaging campaign on the importance of vaccines could have stopped this surge of measles cases as it had in past outbreaks. But I was appalled to learn that the CDC suspended public health messaging on vaccines last February. It ended a successful flu vaccine campaign as well. My question is, did President Trump approve your decision to end CDC's pro-vaccine public messaging campaign?
You got a lot of misinformation there, first of all.
No, I'm asking you a question. I
Let me respond to the misstatements that you've made.
No, you have other opportunities. I have limited time.
I only have,
Please
you're
answer my
the
question.
only opportunity I have to
Did President Trump
respond.
approve your decision to end CDC's pro-vaccine public messaging?
Allow me to respond to a lot of the misinformation.
No, answer my question, please, sir. I have limited time.
There's a global measles epidemic. We've done better in preventing it than any country in the world.
There is no country that has seen a bigger percentage increase.
That's not true. Mexico has 3 times our measles, and they have 1/8 of our population.
Approve your decision to end the CDC's pro-vaccine public message.
Canada has double the measles, and they have 1/8 of our population.
Did he approve that?
We've done better at preventing measles than any country in the world.
Did President Trump approve your decision to end the CDC's pro-vaccine public messaging campaign?
We've done better at preventing
That's
measles
not answering my question,
and ending the epidemic.
That is not answering my question. And I think
when people do this in Congress, they should just be able to fucking, they should just hold somebody in contempt and fucking, like a judge does, and just throw them in a fucking cell until they're ready to answer questions. Fuck this. Absolutely fuck this.
I don't want to answer the question because I think you know.
I want to respond to your
making
misinformation.
Terrible decisions that impact very, very real lives, especially the lives of children. Now, one thing that I find incredible is that you suspended this pro-vaccine messaging campaign, but somehow you're spending taxpayer dollars to drink milk shirtless in a hot tub with Kid Rock and
get him.
Message
your time is
than
expired
informing
by a
the
minute.
Public about the importance of vaccines.
Gentlelady's
Really?
time is expired.
Really?
Oh, she should get some, I don't know, she should get another 10 minutes to fucking talk to this guy. He's getting mad at these people, but you notice too, all these fucking, every one of these times when he gets fucking shitty with somebody, it's a person of color or a woman of color. Now, I don't know if this is like just a sampling that I got, like, from, not just from the Discord, but from like people, like from me seeing stuff on the feed too. But it seems like all these people he's shouting at are fucking women. The first guy wasn't a woman, but I don't think he shouted at that guy either. Here's more. This is from, I believe, a different hearing, but still from Congress this week.
Mr. Secretary, how many members of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices did you replace when you came in?
Well, I fired all 17 members.
That's correct. You fired all of them?
Yeah.
All of the vaccine board?
The entire corrupt vaccine board.
Okay, thanks. You've decided they were corrupt. And apparently what their practices were, what their recommendations were keeping us healthier, children healthier. Children alive.
You're not going to let me reply. You will not let me reply because you do not dare to talk to me about what you just talked about, measles. You do not have the courage to allow me to reply.
I told you the numbers. You know the numbers. I would think that would concern you as Secretary.
You're implying that is because of a drop in vaccination rate.
80%
of those numbers are people who are over 5. They have nothing to do with me.
That there is
vaccination rates dropped after COVID because of mismanagement.
I'll reclaim my time, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. And you replaced all 17 members with people who lack the expertise required to make evidence-based recommendations.
Wrong. Absolutely.
Well, it's true.
Completely, utterly wrong.
Okay.
So this is one of those, it's like he didn't exist almost before he was the HHS secretary or whatever, but he was running around fucking spreading this anti-vaccine bullshit for like 20 years. Right? It's not, he didn't just appear as soon as he was appointed to this position. He's been doing this bullshit for fucking ever. Just absolutely for fucking ever. And so the idea that like this doesn't have anything to do with him is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Here's the last one. And again, he's gonna fucking yell at somebody again. Because he is angry. He is look at how red he is. He is angry.
On this Mercury rule. This is your administration making this decision. Are you critical of it? Why have you stayed silent on this?
You should call Lee Zeldin here and ask him about those. That's not in my. I have a $2.3 trillion agency. I've got
Secretary, you had in your testimony. You wrote an entire report.
I was not part of the hearings. I was not part of that decision. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't know anything about it.
It sounds like pretty convenient amnesia to me because you wrote a report where you talked about the damage of toxic air and water pollution.
Mercury is absolutely, it's the most powerful neurotoxin that we know of in the universe.
So why are you working for an administration that is doubling the amount of mercury pollution in our air and water?
I am running HHS, and I'm ending the chronic disease epidemic.
I think it sounds like
which
an
is
awful
what
lot.
President Trump wants, and I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know anything about it.
Well, I think that's very convenient for you, and it shows a significant degree of cowardice. It's not just mercury. President Trump in July 2025 granted 50 chemical plants.
Why don't you ask me something that I'm in charge of instead of other things?
Are you not in charge of healthcare and human services?
Yeah, HHS.
And you wrote a report about how we want to make sure that our kids.
What you're asking me about is not a decision that's being made by my agency. Why don't you ask me about something, and I won't ask you about something that's happening in the United States Senate.
Sir, I'm happy to talk about what's going on in the United States Senate. I'd be happy to talk about the damages that mercury pollution did. I think it's pretty disturbing.
I'm telling you what I know, which is mercury is a toxin. We should be minimizing the exposures to that in the environment. I don't know anything about the particular. Running this agency is a big job, and it's pretty consuming.
Well,
so I don't get into what the other agencies are doing.
I think this sounds like a pretty simple story to
Why don't you ask me something that's happening in my agency?
I think
if you ask me about a decision that I've made.
The answer to this is, why don't you kiss my entire ass? That's the answer to this guy right here. Just kiss the whole thing. Make sure that you kiss every square inch of my ass.
You wrote a report. Talking about what we need to do to make our kids healthy.
I've admitted it. You're talking in circles. I've said.
I think it's pretty disturbing to me that you don't want to talk about a doubling of mercury.
I don't want to talk about.
You've spent a career about this.
I don't want to talk about a regulation or a policy that I don't know anything about.
This is amazing because this is like this guy's in the president's cabinet. He's not like some bureaucrat at the HHS. He is part of the president's cabinet. He is like he is at the table when all this fucking stuff is talked about, or at least he should be. So like, why wouldn't he talk about it? Like, if he doesn't know about it, then what the fuck is like? Is this guy's like he was right. This guy, he made his career talking about mercury in the water, and then like he pivoted from that probably because he saw dollar signs to talking about fucking thimerosal and vaccines. That's like his story. But the only kind of fucking mercury or whatever, or any kind of toxin he seems to give a one bit of a fuck about is if it's some fucking made up fucking poison in the vaccines. Otherwise, he's like, I don't know. That's not my decision. You fucking, come on, man. Fuck this guy. What an idiot. What an idiot. Here's more of RFK Jr. This is him and Trump. They're having a presser. They're having a little presser.
Research on the fact that over 20% of U.S. women are on these drugs that are prescribed for life. We have a mental health crisis, and
do they work?
No. They don't. Me, I'm on a couple of them. And
I would not have. I would not have.
I figured I'd be next, but no, it is definitely an issue for women.
But Mr.
They're talking about fucking antidepressants, and one of his little toadies in the audience or what, or in the fucking press pool is like, I'm on them and they don't work. It's like, if they don't work, lady, what the fuck are you taking them for then? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, if they don't, like, whoever that is probably has really good health care and can go back to the doctor and be like, hey, this isn't really working for me. And then the doctor isn't going to be like, oh, that's because you're a stupid woman, like fucking Donald Trump and fucking Robert F. Kennedy would probably do. They'd be like, oh, well, what else can we, what are the side effects? Is it just not alleviating your, like, your doctor would talk to you about this, actually. I bet Homegirl has really good health insurance. Here's more.
And to do things better.
I was surprised to hear about the antidepressants. I assumed they'd be better. That's not very good. So, Bobby, you're going to push it very hard?
Yes.
We'll get it done? Sounds good to me. Well, these two guys and this third with Rob, too, and with you, I mean, that to me is research, right? Maybe the ultimate research.
Wait, hold on. Who's this in the middle? Is that Joe Rogan? That's not Joe Rogan. It's just like is that Joe? That's Dana White. It's not Joe Rogan. It looks kind of like Joe Rogan, but I think it's Dana White. What the fuck is Dana White doing there? Anyway, I guess that they're gonna do research on the antidepressants or whatever. Here's Dr. Oz. Because of course it's Dr. Oz. he's on Triggered with RFK Jr. and they're going to talk. They're going to talk about Diet Coke and how it cures cancer. Watch. This is just 20 seconds, but this is the dumbest thing all week.
Your dad replicates that weekly in the Oval Office. So he'll pepper. Bobby and I usually go to the meetings together. So he'll first start off with candy bars, that little candy jar he'll call it. He'll hit the red button, and then comes the diet soda pops, which is your dad argues that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass. It's poured on grass, so therefore it must kill cancer cells inside the body. So.
Look, even Cocaine Don Jr. is like, I don't know about that. Your dad argues that? No. Homeboy just likes Diet Coke, which in and of itself is like fucking, they sell a lot of Diet Coke. So I don't think it's that weird that somebody would like Diet Coke, but it doesn't pour it on grass. It kills grass. There's a fucking XKCD about that, right? It's like, it's the one where it's like, well, this kills cancer in a petri dish, and then fucking another guy in the XKCD thing pulls out a fucking handgun and then shoots the petri dish, and is like, I don't know, seems like a handgun does the same thing. Very funny stuff. So this one is just some fucked up math. This is president and CEO of Children's Health Defense, the organization that RFK was with prior to being the HHS secretary, and her math is bad. She's going to say that 1.4 million children a year, or 1.4 million children a day, are vaccine injured. Now, you do some quick math here. That means 511 million children are vaccine injured.
We're reaching a tipping point, and the New York Times is going to stay with orthodoxy and the narrative that vaccines are safe and effective and they save lives until the bitter end. The reality is we have a massive epidemic of vaccine injury. 1.4 million kids are harmed by vaccines every day. Vaccines cause autism. They cause ADHD. They cause allergies. They cause seizures. They cause autoimmune disorders. And it's just time we have to deal with reality. And that is what a part of the MAHA movement is doing. Not all of it. MAHA is broader than that. It's about food. It's about pesticides. It's about air quality. It's about water quality. But, at the end of the day, health is wealth, right? Everybody cares about their health. Health is not a partisan issue. And there's widespread support for what Kennedy is trying to do on health.
Do you think she meant to say 1.4 million a year? Because 1.4 million a day is that's like more people than live in the United States, although they would tell you that there's just all kinds of fucking undocumented people that we don't know about or whatever. And downstream, I think from all of this, in some ways, is this story out of St. Louis. This is what happens when your healthcare system is being destroyed from the inside by people like RFK Jr., Dr. Oz, and this lady from Children's Health Defense.
Newsroom from a horrified University Hospital employee claiming security had just wheeled a woman all the way out to the corner of Hancock and Ali, just off hospital property, dumped the elderly woman out of the wheelchair on the sidewalk, and left. Minutes later, we shot video of her, still in a soiled hospital gown and slippers, breathing hard under a blanket placed over her in 36-degree weather, her stuff in a bag next.
Fucking yikes, dude. Fucking cruel shit. Fucking horrible stuff. Somebody terrorist in the chat now. This is what happens when you tie people's health to the fucking profit motive. Up next, this lady from Turning Point USA. She's here on Fox going, it's impossible for me to do my job when people are being rude to me. And it's like, well, I don't know, maybe don't work for Turning Point USA. Nobody makes you do this job. Also, I watch carefully. She's talking about how she was like the victim. It seems like, from what I can tell, from what's been showing, when you see her on the right-hand side, it looks like she's the one who put her hands on someone else, not the other way around. But it's hard to tell because it's like all shaky cam and shit, so you can't really see exactly what's going on.
Because they don't want anyone knowing the truth about how many of them are paid, how this is organized, who's funding it, and what they are really all about. They don't.
Yeah, it looks. I don't know, homegirl. It's hard to tell, but it looks like maybe you fucking started that physical altercation.
Proud of their movement. They'd be like, welcome. We'll be happy to talk to you, but they don't want that.
Absolutely, Laura. And this attack was so horrific that you now have the radical left-wing streamers and left-wing activists coming out and denouncing this attack, saying, oh, we shouldn't touch women. That's probably a bridge too far. But again...
Which one said that? It looked to me like I can't tell. Is there other footage? I can't tell. If I had to guess, it looks like you're the one you put your hands on somebody first. It's hard to tell, though. It's hard to tell because all the shaky cam shit.
I was targeted because I work for Turning Point USA, because I'm a brown woman who thinks the wrong thing, because I...
Lady, you were white. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck that you're last. You were a brown like Nick Fuentes. Shut the fuck up.
They were mocking me for my religion. They were mocking me for my political views. They, like I said, they told me that I had no right to be on a public street, and they made...
Look at, she's fucking putting her hands on people. You know what? If that's my sister, you do that too? I don't know. Lady, you just fucking stuffed your hand in that lady's face and fucking pushed her away. That's assault. You just assaulted that person. And they're showing a video of her being violent. Not like nobody's going to get a serious injury from this. This isn't like she shot somebody or something. She's not ICE. But it looks like she's the one who started the violent part of this interaction.
Brutally assault me multiple times as I was trying to leave. So that's the United States of America in 2026. And my main question is, how was this allowed to happen in President Trump's America? So,
yeah, I don't know. If you fucking stuffed your hand in that lady's face and she's coming for you after it, that's called revenge. I don't know. Looked like you stuffed your hand in that lady's face and she got mad and came for you for it. But again, you can't tell. Right. And I think the ambiguity is kind of the point, right? If you start a physical altercation and you fucking like move the phone around, it looks like all fucking shaky cam and shit like fucking the Blair Witch Project. You can claim that any fucking thing happened while the camera was shaking and I can't see what's going on.
The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office better do its job here because they
should fucking charge her with an assault. It looked like she assaulted that other lady. You can't tell, though, again.
There was a message from on high, this will not be tolerated, then it wouldn't have been tolerated. And the feeling here is that it's okay to do this. And that's the problem. Let's bring in Tom Homan, who is a border czar.
Yeah, look at that. I'm sorry, dude. It looks to me like unless there's more of that video that we can't see, it looks like, homegirl, it looks like you're the one who put your hands on somebody first. Just don't put your hands on anybody without their fucking permission. Just don't do it.
Conversation. We're going to have them separate segment, but Tom, this is insane. I saw it firsthand when I was in Minneapolis. These people are terrifying to young women. She's 5'4", and she's lucky she wasn't hurt worse.
And look, my heart goes out, and this shouldn't happen in the United States. But you know what feeds all this? Mayors and governors and members of Congress who want to vilify Republicans. They want to vilify President Trump. They want to vilify Turning Point USA because they have conservative beliefs. I mean, they attack journalists. Well, they also attack sworn law enforcement officers. We're living in a country now where an ICE officer gets a...
Dude, it looks like the fucking... Look at that. That lady... dude, that lady did... that lady walked near you and you fucking shoved her by her face. Fuck that. You are not a victim. You are the instigator, it looked like to me.
These attacks not only happen where...
But she got what she wanted out of that, right? This is what she wants.
Chicago?
I would say leave her alone. I'd say fucking stay 15 feet away from her and fucking laugh at her.
I'm grateful the FBI stepping in. DOJ is going to seek prosecution on this because at this point, I don't trust any local jury in a sanctuary jurisdiction. I'd much rather see the feds pick it up and charge it.
Pick what up?
The sentence is going to be a lot more stringent and it sends a strong message. But we cannot give up on this. We got to keep prosecuting these people. 18 U.S.C. 111, interference, assault, record high number of prosecutions. We got to continue down that path and hold these people accountable.
Yeah, it looked to me like, unless like, it's hard to tell because the video is on a loop, but it looks to me like if my timeline's correct, that she fucking stuffed her hand in that lady's face and then that lady came for her. Now, it's not, you shouldn't do that. But like, that's not the story that Fox is telling here. The video is telling us what appears to be a different story.
in the United States of America.
And Savannah, we don't want anyone injured who are at these.
Dude, if it's hard to tell. I'm not like, it's not like 100%, right? Because you can't tell because of the fucking shaky cam and shit. But it looked to me like she's the one who did that first. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if somebody does that to you, like, I don't know. It's hard not to fucking respond. Then there's some people who are just hotheads. And if you put your fucking hand in their face like that, they're throwing hands. That's just who they are. And that's how they do. That's why you shouldn't fucking, you don't ever pick no fights, because you don't know. You just don't know if you might lose. You never know who could whoop that ass. So don't pick fights. So this is more Turning Point USA news. There was a Turning Point USA event that was empty, and wouldn't you know it, it was a liberal conspiracy is why the event was empty.
At some point, you just have to say, we'll do this a different way. And that's what we ultimately did yesterday. I was honored to be able to pinch hit for Erica. I was honored that the vice president was open to continue the event with me in her stead. So it was an honor to do that. And I think we had a really important conversation, and the clips are all over. So I'm really proud of that. I think it was really important topics that we got to. I got to ask a Catholic vice president about the Catholic Pope and all of that good stuff. We had questions about Epstein. We had questions about H-1B and immigration. So in total, it was a really tremendous conversation that I will look back on fondly. I was honored to do it. But obviously, the main story is that Erica had to make that terrible decision to not go. And
so this is stupid too, because like the fucking vice president was there. She's like, oh, there's security concerns. It's like, motherfucker, the Secret Service swept that place. If the vice president can show up, fucking pyrotechnic grieving lady can show up. It's bullshit. She didn't go because she fucking heard the fucking place was empty and canceled. I guarantee it. She fucking maybe found out beforehand that the ticket sales weren't good, or that she knew something beforehand and didn't go. That's my guess.
When your children are one parent away from being orphans, and the security gives you that tough assessment, obviously you want to take that very seriously, and so we did, and that's that. So I will say there was other news. The internet is a fun place, Blake, and I saw you mixing it up on the
a little. I mean, there's
night.
A lot of disgusting people on the internet who need to be put in their place.
Yeah, Blake is. I watched you slowly just reach the end of yourself, and so I can appreciate that. I think you're very good at it. You're very measured. You stay very controlled. Anyway, so the other story that was happening last night, I think it's worth addressing just briefly. I mean, we had over 2,000, mostly students, attend that event, but it was a very large venue. So 2,000 at any college event is massive. A couple things happened in advance of this, and this is one of the pieces of evidence that we made when we were determining Erica's participation in the event, is that there was just so much counter protest energy. Everybody, there was that was apparently all the talk of the school, and you combine that with the death threats and the doxing of the travel and the itineraries, all of these things. But so a couple things happened. So we ended up having to open doors and close doors earlier than was previously scheduled. Okay, so that was something. A lot of people were seeing the news, what happened with Savannah and Minneapolis. So that was also a conversation that we were having.
You mean where your homegirl like fucking started a fight in Minneapolis?
Left-wing groups that try, and they do this at a number of events. We have this pretty much down to a science, where if we have, in this event, in which case we had about 10,000 tickets reserved for the event, and the venue holds about 4,000 when you consider the stage. So if you do like a hockey event at this event, it's about 6,000, but then you put a stage in, it only fits about 4,000. So we had over 2,000 people there, massive energy, great enthusiasm from the attendees, but and this happens, the left-wing groups swarm the ticketing and they try and book up all the tickets, and then they don't show. And that's one of their forms of protest. Normally, we're pretty good at sniffing it out, but they use some new means and activities. And so we're working with our ticketing systems to adjust for that moving forward.
Oh, this all started with those fucking K-pop TikTok kids. Remember that Trump event where they fucking, like, for some reason, I think Trump was talking some shit about South Korea, so I don't remember what was going on. But he had this event where he had this like giant fucking place, and then he had this area outside for overflow. But like almost all the fucking tickets were bought by these fucking K-pop kids on fucking TikTok, and so there was nobody there. This keeps happening to them. It's amazing. Good for whoever's doing this. So here is from that event we're talking about. Here is JD Vance catching a little flack from somebody in the audience, actually, about Jesus and genocide.
How can you say that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated France from the Nazis? Was God on the side of the...
I would suggest no, because God isn't real, but...
who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from, those who had survived the Holocaust? I certainly think the answer is yes, and I agree. Jesus Christ does not. I agree. Jesus Christ certainly does not support genocide. Whoever yelled that out from the dark.
Whoever yelled that out from, dude, it's not that it's dark there. Have you ever been on a stage? Yelled it out from the dark, motherfucker! You're on stage with lights pointed at you. Yelled it out. Like hiding in the fucking all-concealing darkness, motherfucker. They're in the arena. What an idiot! What a stupid motherfucker. These people are so bad at this. We're getting to the end of the docket. I got some interesting stuff for Red Light, but we got a couple more. I don't even know what the fuck this is. This is from that Christian Nightmares account on Blue Sky. And this is this exorcism? I don't know what this is. I hope everybody involved here is okay. I hope nobody was actually like possessed by a fucking demon or whatever. This is so fucking weird.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
Get up, Thor.
Thank you, Jesus.
Jesus. Go down.
Thank you, Jesus.
Stay in the chair, Thor.
Thank you, Jesus.
Stay in the chair, Thor.
Thank you, Jesus.
The dude's name is Thor? The motherfucker's name is Thor.
As I'm touching you, you're burning because I stand in God's covenant agreement. Look at me, Thor. Look at me, Thor. Legal right. Yes or no? Simple. Legal right. Yes or no? Legal right. Yes or no?
No!
He repented. He repented. You have to go. You have to. You haven't got a legal right. Christ's blood has broken that. His forgiveness has broken that. His repentance has broken that. His coming to church has broken that. His faithfulness to serve God has broken that. Say 2. 2.
Thank you, Jesus.
Say 2. 2. That. Pit. Say
Oh, there's almost a minute more of this. Hold on.
Lord God, by your anointing that's in this place, Jesus Christ is Lord. His kingdom rules. Say pit.
Say you now.
Say. I thank you because we stand in God's providence. We stand in His kingdom, and Jar's getting free because he's not giving up. He's pursuing the Lord Jesus Christ.
Faith.
That's right. He's got faith. You have to go.
I like it.
You have to go. Say pit. Say pit, Thor.
Say it.
Pit. Come out. Go. Come out. Come out of him.
Is he gonna barf? He throws up the demon.
Come out. Come out. Go. Come out of him.
Oh no, you did. Oh no. I was kidding. I didn't watch that. I was kidding. They gave him a fucking barf bag to expel the demon. But again, it's the Iranians. it's the Muslims. They're the religious crazies. There's a new documentary coming out. It's called Till Kingdom Come. It's this is the official trailer for it, and I presume this is probably something we're gonna probably end up watching like on a Catterday or whatever.
When the Christian community speaks about what they think is going to happen and what they envision as a Jewish person, I relate to 99% of it. But the end is different.
Every nation that has blessed Israel, God has blessed them. And every nation that has opposed Israel, God has been in opposition to them.
I know that's a strong word to use, indoctrination, but that's where it starts. The apostle.
I like how they just showed them processing fucking checks.
Said Jesus will come back to the Holy Land. And that's what the evangelicals believe, and they want to support it.
Christians. Yeah, that's that fucking end time shit. Crazy old Uncle Pat is up on that end time shit.
$1.4 billion to help Israel and the Jewish people.
American evangelicals are a voting bloc of 25% of the American population. Wouldn't we expect to be better represented in government?
Jerusalem is where Messiah will come and establish a kingdom that will never end.
Today, oh, that was weird seeing fucking Candace Owens with the Turning Point USA crowd in that image.
Open the United States Embassy in Jerusalem, the capital the Jewish people established in ancient times.
We don't believe that Palestine is a place on God's map. That's not evangelicalism. That's fact of history. The State Department was so afraid to move our embassy to Jerusalem, but to us was a very important signal in prophecy. We've been waiting for that to happen for decades.
So now we're watching end time signs for the second coming of Christ. There's going to be great tribulation in Israel. There's going to be an end time battle, the Battle of Armageddon.
I mean, they're just saying the thing. They're like, here, I don't care. Fucking just nuke Jerusalem. As long as fucking the Jews repent, they'll get raptured and fucking go and live with Jesus.
Israel because of the Jewish community, supporting it because of his evangelical followers. This isn't about money. This is bigger than this. This is
about money.
Partnership of God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is like End Times Prophecy, the fucking documentary. Like, I've had people like disagree with me that that's what a lot of these people believe, but this fucking documentary is just straight up saying it. It's like the whole just saying it, being like, oh, we're gonna have a tribulation. There's gonna be a nuclear weapon, I guess. This seems like a crazy thing to believe and a crazy thing to want to have happen. I can't imagine this being a thing that the people want. But who knows? Anyway, in more like religious batshittery, this is out of Clearwater, Florida. There was a petition to stop basically the cult of Scientology from buying up more real estate in downtown Clearwater. And, well, the county clerk, I don't know, maybe they fucking worship a space alien. Let's see what's happening here.
Petitions denied. The Clearwater city clerk tossed thousands of signatures opposing the sale of a street to the Church of Scientology. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Chris Hurst has the memo sending organizers scrambling.
Hello. We were at the Clearwater Clerk's office less than a month ago with organizers from Save the Garden, a citizen group trying to stop a possible land deal with the Church of Scientology to build L. Ron Hubbard Hall.
Citizens in general and American people want to be heard. We're tired of having other people fight our battles for that are not in our interest.
They were there to drop off more than 8,000 signatures requiring voter approval to sell city streets to a private buyer.
I got an email from the clerk, our city clerk, and I wanted to kind of share that with you because the long and the short of it is she rejected the vast majority of our signatures.
But this week, the clerk tossed more than 75% of the signatures, saying the majority were collected while one organizer wasn't registered to vote in the city.
So we're under the impression that you're a voter. Yes.
We went ahead, made sure that she got registered, no big deal. We gave proof of that.
They're using every trick in the book to strike down these valid signatures.
The group's lawyer says even though the clerk's decision may technically follow what's in the city charter, courts have ruled these types of errors shouldn't disqualify an entire petition campaign.
It was cured very quickly, and the interpretation is minimal. I mean, there's a doctrine in Florida law called substantial compliance. It was substantially complied with.
They've asked the clerk to look again, but are preparing to sue and ask a judge to decide. In Clearwater, Chris Hurst, 10 Tampa Bay News.
The group is rushing to gather thousands of additional signatures in the next week to make up the difference before a deadline to get the question put on this year's ballot. A city spokesperson says the clerk has been consulting with the city attorney throughout the entire process.
So I think there's one of two things happening here, right? One, I mean, maybe there's bias toward the cult of Scientology in the city of Clearwater, which we've seen in the past. We've seen also in Los Angeles, LAPD specifically. It could also be that anti-Scientology activists are fucking incompetent, as we've also seen. So I don't know if it's one, the other, possibly both. But I'm, not terribly surprised that a group of anti-Scientology activists did not check the voter registration status of the people fucking collecting the signatures. This would not surprise me at fucking all. At all. So we're going to end with this. I do hope everybody involved is okay, but I feel like this is just like a, this right here is like a metaphor. What I'm going to show you is a metaphor. Again, I hope everybody involved is okay. Like, I hope nobody got hurt, but it looked like maybe that, I mean, he fell pretty hard, but I hope everybody's okay. But that is a metaphor. And again, like, no shade on the skydiver. I'm sure the skydiver is, I don't know, people make mistakes. Maybe the wind conditions were bad. Who knows? Again, I hope everybody was okay, but that is a metaphor. I've never seen a metaphor like that, and I've never seen such a good metaphor. Oh, Kiko in the chat says that was on Army night too. Oh, that's great. That's great. Again, I hope nobody got hurt. Like, a lot of people could have gotten hurt if that person, like if the straps or whatever, if he would have fallen on the crowd, a lot of people could have gotten hurt. I hope everybody's okay. I think the guy in the parachute, I assume it's the person in the parachute, they probably had some injuries because that shit didn't look like it felt good. But that's a metaphor for the world we live in right now. I don't know. Now I feel kind of bad for showing that. The skydiver got hurt. Yeah. Well, I hope they recover. I hope the injuries weren't serious, although it did look like he hit the fucking sign pretty hard. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out for the podcast part of the show. If you people listening on the podcast want the rest of the show, you can get it at patreon.com/echoplex or eplex.store. Sign at the $5 level or higher. And this gets like mailed to your inbox a day before, or maybe sometimes 2 days before the podcast comes out, depending upon how lazy and or hungover I might be. So, and people watching live, you know the drill. Stick around. I'm going to pour myself a cocktail, change the color of the lighting in here, and we're going to go into red light. What we have for red light here is Tim Pool has a take on the Eric Swalwell scandal that is fucking really stupid. I also saw another Tim Pool clip of him like freaking out on his co-hosts about like, because he was saying that women are all stupid or whatever, but the Majority Report did a really good job covering that, so I'm just going to leave that one be. We got Clavicular on 60 Minutes Australia. I don't know why he fucking Clavicular went on to 60 Minutes Australia. Those people do not fuck around. He ended up walking off. And then we got Beef Daughter probably lying to us about the condition of her father, Jordan Peterson. And I have a bit of a hypothesis. It's maybe far-flung, maybe throwing out some fucking stuff that's not likely to be true, but I have a bit of a hypothesis about what's going on. Anyway, I'll see everybody for Red Light. This is Boomers by Periscope.